What's up, everybody? Welcome in Southeastern 14 bets and ball games with Edwards and Greeson. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that. How we doing, Mr. Greeson?
Tremendous. Got two kids at the house. Christmas is a glorious time of the year. Uh, Family everywhere. It is just sausage biscuits and matzo balls. Mazel tov, everybody. There you go. I mean, look at
Not
me. I mean, I'm 100%. I look 100% Jewish, right? I mean, look at me. I mean, redneck from the south with blonde hair and blue eyes. That's me. Yep. Mazel tov.
so to our audience. Hopefully you're not noticing a delay of any sort, but when Jay's voice has been coming through, his mouth doesn't start moving till 5 seconds later. We're hoping that it'll work itself out with StreamYard. If not, bear with us. This could be
Bear
extra
with us
entertaining.
because we could also do like the Keith Carradine kung fu movies from the late 1960s. You want to fight me? You must fight my brother.
This is true. All right, so before we get started, let's talk about our great friends at Bet Online, which remains your top spot for all of your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, and NHL are in full swing. Bet Online is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to Bet Online today and remember to use our promo code all caps, promo code all caps BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that promo code all caps BLEAV. Bet Online, where the game starts, and where we will start is we're going to go through in order the SEC games and excuse me, and then we'll offer up our non-SEC games and maybe hopefully have some time to touch on a little NFL for this week. We're recording on Thursday as SMU and Boston College are playing no SEC games the rest of the day, but we kick off tomorrow morning or our noon Eastern as we're in Jacksonville, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Clemson and Kentucky and our good friends at Bet Online have Clemson at -4 with a total of 44.5. And if you like the Cats to win outright, they are +155 on the money line. Any thoughts here, Jay?
I love Kentucky in this spot. I really do. Their offensive line is going to be as healthy as it's been all year. Kentucky genuinely, traditionally, does not have as many defections because they've got good college football players, but they don't have a whole lot of NFL dudes opting out, transfer portal, and the running backs coming back. And Clemson, I think, is down 5 or 6 defensive starters, including 4 dudes in a very good front seven who are now making NFL plays, NFL plans. Weather could be an issue tomorrow. I love Kentucky in this spot, and I'll take the 5, the 4.5. But if you've got a little gumption, I like the +155 on the money line, to be quite honest, because I mean the Kublasek kid is not, he's not trustworthy. I mean the Clemson quarterback is. I mean, yeah, Will Shipley's a good player, but who are you really going to rely on to for Clemson to get you 21 points?
Yeah, and they're going to be missing Jeremiah Trotter, star linebacker, cornerback, Nate Wiggins, D lineman, or I'm not even going to butcher this guy's pronunciation. Bo Collins, wide receiver. Did I say Nate Wiggins? I think I did.
Did you think you were going to butcher Bo Collins' name?
No, Rook or Horo. I did butcher it.
Yeah, you did butcher that one. That ain't Bo Collins, brother. I don't know who Rook. I mean, Yahtzee, I guess. I mean, what do you got going on over there with Ruko Koro?
All right, I'll make I'll make you give it a shot. ORHORHORO.
Bless you.
Or
Bless you.
right, yeah, all that. And McBua or McCuba, uh, the safety is out. So yeah, you're right. About a half dozen starters now. Tyler Davis and Barrett Carter are listed on the bowl depth chart, but I'll believe they're playing when I see them on the field. You're right. Kentucky, less opt-outs and off their best performance against Clemson. And we know Devin Leary and Ray Davis are all playing,
Right.
and a couple of transfer guys in the portal are still playing. So I actually don't like this game. It's a pass for me. All right, let's go to tomorrow night. Missouri and Ohio State, which has seen incredible line movement, not just from the opener, into a week or two, but in the last week or so. Right now, BetOnline has Ohio State listed as a 3.5 point favorite with a total of 49, and you can get Missouri at plus 150 on the money line. Now, about an hour ago, I saw a lot of 4.5s. It looks like it might have tipped at 4.5 and then started coming back the other way. And, let's see, or here I'm looking it up right now on terms of the dates of when, but, Missouri was favored. Okay, so let's see. Well, Missouri was favored by 2.5 as recently as 2 days ago, the 26th. And then early morning yesterday, it just moved 5.5 points. Now, I, I know Travion Henderson and Marvin Harrison have not opted out, but I still think Marvin Harrison opts out. Now, we'll see. And and we've talked about this a little bit with bowl games. It's just about data collection, finding out who the hell is going to be in uniform, and that can go all the way up till 20 minutes before the game starts. So I don't think Harrison's going to play, but I mean, even like I said earlier this month, I think I like Missouri anyway. And I think you liked Missouri as well. I'll give some more reasoning on why I like them. Remind me where you stand on this one.
No, I'm with you on Missouri. I actually think there's a belief there, both in their head coach and, I mean, there's something to be said for these teams that are built around good college players who this may be the highlight for them. I mean, how good is Brady Cook going to be on Sundays? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many future NFL players Missouri has. Ohio State's got dozens. So, I mean, this is meaningful to them, and I tend to lean towards the side that has more skin in the game. But I will say this: how many professional gamblers in Vegas have played both sides of this fence of Ohio State plus 2.5 and now Missouri plus 5? And you can play both sides of that with that big of a window. And I mean, buckets, man. And you just go to bed and, hey, however it turns out, it turns out. And you may win both.
Yeah, and I was heavily invested on Oklahoma State last night and loved it going into it. And then the A&M quarterback gets hurt there on the first drive, and it impacted the live line more so. Like, you know how they have the algorithms and it's
Right.
the score dictates the live line. Well, the first live line I looked at, was it A&M that was up 3-0 to start? I'm trying to remember, but like there was no reason for the live line to be plus 9.5 on A&M, and it was, and I was like, Well, heck, I'll just make a little baby play on A&M as a, because that gave me a 6.5 point hedge. I mean, I didn't care if it won or not. I was just, in case this game went sideways on me. And then when they got that field goal, I ended up hitting both sides. Now, it wasn't a substantial hedge, so I'm not like Mr. Braggadocio over here. But yeah.
Well, you kind of are. You kind of.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Hey, you won both bets. I mean,
there you go. But
hey, braggadocio, because God knows we're going to lose bets.
I just made up a word, didn't I? Braggadocious. But I made it braggadocio. Yeah. All right. Well, so the reasons I like Missouri are, well, we got an inexperienced quarterback for Ohio State. We've got the opt-outs for Ohio State. Not as many as we expected. But look, Missouri went 10-2. Very easily could have won the LSU game. We've covered that. They had a 4-point lead, like 3.5 minutes left. LSU was like 3rd and 15, and Jaden Daniels ran for like 20 yards. Then he hit Neighbors for like 60 yards. And then they had the pick six, and that game went sideways on them. Very competitive in the Georgia game. Had the lead midway through the third quarter. They lost 30-21. But those are their only blemishes on their entire resume. And, I don't think anybody was good in the Big Ten except for Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. Ohio State did get a solid win at Notre Dame, but I'm not that impressed. I got Missouri, and you do as well. So our next SEC game, which will also be, is that tomorrow? Am I reading this right? Oh, no, we got Ole Miss tomorrow against Penn State, and Bet Online, and that's a noon Eastern kick. And I said tomorrow, and I was mistaken. Saturday at noon Eastern. Auburn also Saturday at 2 Eastern. But Ole Miss is currently wow. Okay. If you like Ole Miss, Bet Online is your place, because Penn State is a 5.5 point favorite with a total of 49, and you can get Ole Miss on the money line at plus 165. I see one other offshore also has Penn State at 5.5, but that's it. A lot of other, actually, Westgate Superbook has 6 out in Las Vegas, but most other books are at 4.5. So Bet Online, if you're liking Ole Miss, has got a good price for you. And any thoughts on this one, Jay? I'll go ahead and say, before we get your opinion, is that I had an Ole Miss heavy against Baylor in the Sugar Bowl 2 years ago. Corral gets hurt there, like the second or third play, or first drive. Right. I think I would have won that if not for that. And then last year, Kiffin lost his mind in the first half, went for it on like 4th down in his own territory like 3 times, didn't get it, like handed him 17 points. So I'm not in any hurry to bet Ole Miss, but I am wondering, why the hell is this line so big? Because it's making me think Ole Miss. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is, of all the SEC games, this is the one that scares me the most, because I actually think Penn State's pretty good. And I also think, if you're a college football fan out there that does not have a Michigan, an Alabama, or a Georgia flag flying on the back part of your car, you would probably take Kiffin or James Franklin over whoever you have as a head coach. Both of these guys are pretty good. Now, sometimes Kiffin gets out in front of his skis a little bit, and like you mentioned last year, who knows? I mean, but if he goes for it on 4th and 2 and they get 3 of them in the first half, instead of being down 17-0, they may be up 24-0. This game is a stay away from me. And there are way more bowl games that I am way more invested in. This one, I'm going to admit, I just don't have a feel for this. Ole Miss is at times looks as good as anybody. And then at times, Kiffin's his own worst enemy. James Franklin has lost some coordinators. How does that play into things? I don't know. I mean, this one, I've got zero feel here, and in that regard, the best thing I can tell you, if you have to play it, one, you probably need to call the Tennessee Red Line number at 1-800 gambling help or whatever it is. But if you've got to play it, just trust your gut. I don't want any part of this game on either side.
Yeah, no, gosh, excuse me. I agree. And, for teams that have plenty of NFL dudes, not many opt-outs. Now, Chop Robinson, the best pass rusher for Penn State, has opted out, but their stud O-lineman, who's a potential top 10 pick, has been practicing with the team. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to opt out or not, but Theo Johnson, the tight end, who's declared for the draft, he is still playing for Penn State. And unless I missed something, cornerbacks Kalen King and Johnny Dixon had not opted out. So we might get two teams pretty much at full force. The guys that entered the transfer portal for Ole Miss, only one of them had a significant, like more than 150 snaps, and that was edge rusher Cedric Johnson. So, yeah, both teams are pretty much full strength in terms of high Power 5 teams not playing.
And he's not going to play, but Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss may be a preseason sneaky win the SEC next year, because they just added the Walter Nolan kid from Texas A&M, who
and have like 7 other
available in the portal. I mean, Lane Kiffin has added some dudes now. They're going to be loaded for bear next fall in Oxford.
Yeah, I believe so. Nolan's a 5-star transfer. If I'm not, and I looked at this like 2 nights ago, I believe Kiffin had 7 4-star transfers already, and not done yet. Not done yet by any means. And so I look at that when I'm looking at some recruiting stuff, and then I go and I look at Florida, and we got 1 4-star transfer and 3 3-star transfers. And then, you're looking on the Gator website, and Napier upgrading the nutrition department. We've hired a new nutrition guy. And I'm just like, we got 5,000 problems, buddy.
Hey, but he's a 5-star nutrition guy. I mean, think how good your snacks are going to be next year. I mean, you're going to have granola everywhere. You're gonna have like some Chex Mix anywhere anybody wants it. I mean, you guys are gonna be snacktastic.
Get busy, Billy Napier. My gosh, good Lord. They're still doing evals on all the transfers. While
you know what? I want Billy Napier and I want Arthur Smith to get on the SS Minnow and just go over there and get lost with Gilligan and the skipper and hey, you know what? They're going to enjoy it. Marianne and Ginger are there. Hey, and you know what? Don't sleep on Mrs. Howell. I mean, she was kind of sneaky hot, right?
Yeah, I got a few other dozen people I want to throw on that boat as well. Jim McElwain, Ron Zook, my AD Scott Strickland, et cetera, et cetera. All right, back to business. The Auburn game. 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And Bet Online, our good friends, they have Auburn listed as a 7-point favorite at even money. There are some 7s out there. There are some 6.5. So if you like the Maryland side, Bet Online is your spot. And the total at Bet Online is 47.5. And the Terps on the money line are plus 205. Now they will not have Baby Tua, the program's all-time leader in career.
The Big Ten's all-time leader.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Did not know that. Okay.
The Big Ten all-time passing leader in yards.
All right.
Which is saying something when you look around and remember that Drew Brees played a whole bunch. Now, granted, we're in the COVID conversation. He may have been in like the Cam Newton's original recruiting class. Who knows?
Right,
I mean,
right.
But I love this spot for Auburn. Auburn has had very few defections, with the exception of Atlanta. Auburn's fan base in Nashville is huge. I mean, I know it's going to be only half full in the Titan Stadium, but 75% of that 50,000 people or whatever it is will be Auburn fans. And I think Hugh Freeze realizes the importance of going 7-6 as opposed to 6-7 in year one. I really do. And I think Auburn plays as well as they have played all year. Now, and if you want to hit me with Auburn has not beaten a team that with a winning record, I get it. Hey, it's completely fair. They also played Alabama and Georgia as tough as anybody in the country. And I think they're going to be able to run the football against Maryland. And I think this is a multiple touchdown win. And I know I went to school there, so if you want to call me biased, call me biased. But this may be my favorite bet over the weekend.
Yeah, and in addition to Maryland's not having Baby Tua, they're going to be without their best tight end who had 49 catches, 491 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and their best cover corner, Tarheeb Still, who had 45 tackles and 5 interceptions. Auburn also, yeah, like, I mean, you said, the location advantage, or at least in terms of the fans, is an advantage. And also motivation. This team did not go bowling last year. And one last thing, Hugh Freeze, in his previous stops, 7 bowl games, 6-1, both straight up and ATS. So I agree. I'm on Auburn. I am laying the points, but if you're a money line parlay guy or a teaser guy, I think Auburn fits the bill. If you want to, put them in with somebody, maybe even Tennessee, which we'll get to in a minute. But first, we got Saturdays. Oh, it's not even at night. Orange Bowl, 4 p.m. Eastern, with Georgia and Florida State, who are expected to be shells of their former selves, with as many as perhaps 40 or even more combined players not going to be in uniform currently. At Bet Online, Georgia is 19.5 and
Wow.
44.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, 44.5, and FSU is plus 750 on the money line. All right, in my opinion, the play is FSU's team total under 13.5. Now I'm not saying it's an enormous play, because I mean, you get a defensive touchdown, you get a punt return for a touchdown. But look, if Brock Glenn, QB3, gets hurt because Rodemaker has hit the
portal.
Yeah, hit the bricks, hit the portal, and they don't have a scholarship backup behind Glenn. If he gets hurt, it's going to be a wildcat from some running back or what have you. And we're not. I feel like the Georgia guys haven't announced all their opt-outs. FSU is going to be missing like as many as like more than a dozen starters. Now Georgia's going to be missing a lot of guys too, but not a lot of them have not announced yet. Hopefully that'll happen today, or maybe I missed something, last night. Has Bowers even said he's not playing? Do you know?
He hasn't formally announced, but he's not down there. I mean,
okay, that's what I thought I saw, that he didn't. He wasn't with the team.
He may fly in like Jefferson at Ridgemont High School in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. They just fly him in for the games. I mean, who knows? But here's the other thing about that. And you and I have had a really good run, and follow us on Twitter because we post our picks, and we've had a really good run through the bowl season. One game I know we both missed was last night with USC against Louisville. And USC had a ton of opt-outs. I don't care how many opt-outs Georgia has, because their dudes 25 through 50 are still dudes. I mean, the way Kirby has assembled talent, 19 and a half is obscene. That is an obscene bowl line. But the only play here is Georgia. I love your idea of Florida State under 13 and a half, because they may get shut out. And you know what? They may get shut out and throw double middle fingers to everybody of who cares if you've got a good TV product or not, because TV is kind of the reason we didn't get in the playoff. So, I mean, if you're Mike Norvell, or if you're Mike Norvell and you say, you know what, guys, go do your thing. God bless you. I'm in full support. We're not going to try out there and be a great product for ESPN. I mean, what if he does the Jerry Reed and Waterboy and they start taking a knee in the middle of the third quarter? I know it's the Bourbon Bowl as opposed to the Orange Bowl. And for a lot of us, every bowl game is the Bourbon Bowl. And that's okay. That's okay.
So another idea other than the FSU team total under 13 and a half is, and again, now you're giving yourself a short window, and BetOnline does not have a first quarter lineup, but most books have the first quarter line as Georgia minus 3.5, and most books have the first half line at Georgia minus 10.5. So what I may do is just have smallish to medium plays on Georgia minus 3.5 first quarter, Georgia minus 10.5 first half, and FSU's team total under 13.5. Those are my ideas for this game.
All of those make a ton of sense, in especially considering what we know and trying to hedge this being Thursday at 1:00 in the afternoon, what we don't know.
Right. So, like I said, I wouldn't have enormous amounts of money on any of those plays, but if we can go a 3-0 sweep, it would maybe add up to a nice.
And maybe you parlay those.
You can't. I don't think you can.
Okay.
When you're on the same side like that, yeah, not even with the Georgia's first quarter side with FSU's team. I don't think they let you do that. I don't believe. But I didn't know you could parlay 2 NFL receiving yards props until about after I'd hit A.J. Brown and Kyle Pitts overs like 5 weeks in a row. I was told you could do that, and then I do it, and it split.
Did you see the DraftKings dude who hit the 14
anytime
scores?
Yes.
Paid almost like it was like plus 9.8 million. He put a $5 parlay down and cashed 490 grand.
Yeah. Congrats to my man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
God bless you, man.
Go, brother.
Hey, it's like what Clooney says in Ocean's 11. You just keep playing until you can get to the house, and then you bet big, and then you break the house. I mean, God bless you.
No doubt. I feel like there was another wild one this past weekend that somebody hit as well. All right. Excuse me. So then the next day, which would be, well, I guess there's
no game Sunday, right? So we'll go Monday.
Right. Yeah, no college New Year's Eve. So we're on to Monday, January 1st, New Year's Day, and before we get to the CFP semifinals, we've got 2 SEC teams in action. We've got LSU against Wisconsin at noon Eastern. We've got Iowa and Tennessee in Orlando at 1 Eastern, and currently at BetOnline, LSU, and actually because our listeners, being some LSU fans and SEC fans in general, might be interested, and I still have my lines on the first quarter, I'll just let you know. LSU's minus 3.5 in the first quarter. In the first half, LSU is minus 6.5. I think I like the 6.5 in the first half better just because of a bigger window of offensive possessions. And then for the game, LSU at Bet Online minus 10, total of 55.5. And the Badgers are plus 290 on the money line. So we've got Jaden Daniels has opted out. Brian Kelly said a few days ago that he's fully expecting Malik Neighbors, who's going to be a top 10 pick, most likely, and Brian Thomas Jr., who also had more than 1,000 receiving yards this year and is, I feel like he was late first round in Mel Kiper's most recent mock, or at least the one I saw several weeks back. Kelly said he thinks those guys are playing. I don't necessarily believe that right now, several, days out. But I don't care if they play or not. I still like LSU. What are your thoughts here?
I'm in complete agreement for a multitude of reasons, but the most pertinent one is speed. And LSU's got a whole multitude of dudes, a legion of purple clad tigers who can really run. And that translates in every game you ever play in sports. And Wisconsin doesn't have that. And yeah, Wisconsin's going to show up and they're going to fight and they're going to block and tackle and God bless you. But you know what's going to happen? LSU's going to bust two plays that go 70 plus yards, and you're just not going to be able to overcome that. I like LSU, with the exception of Auburn going against Maryland without the quarterback. LSU is a really attractive play for me among the SEC teams. I just think LSU, even without Jaden Daniels, I'm with you. I don't think Neighbors plays. I think the other wide receiver does play, because it's going to give him a chance to be wide receiver one and go put some film down. I'm sorry, LSU layer 2 is better than if all of the Wisconsin starters show up.
Yeah, and look, LSU's won, 3 games in a row, both straight up and against the spread, and 6 of 7, both straight up and against the spread. The only loss, being to Bama during that stretch. And let's not, sugarcoat this. Wisconsin, to me, because I had a big bet on them to win the Big Ten West, and I had them over 9.5 wins, to me, they were the biggest disappointment in the country this year. I mean, they lost 3 in a row at one point, including a 20-14 loss at Indiana, which won 3 games, I think, got its coach fired. They were 7.5 point road favorites. They lose. They're 12.5 point home favorites to Northwestern as recently as November 11th, and they lose by double digits. And then they were not bowl eligible going in their next to last game. They beat Nebraska at home in overtime, and then they go at Minnesota, and Minnesota was just awful without Taylor, the running back, late in the year, and they do win 28-14. But they also lost 15-6 at home to Iowa. They're not going to have Braylon Allen, their star running back, and then they had a really good running back too, Masuli, who got injured way back in September, but that kid's really, really good as well. And then their starting center, Tanner Bortolini, he's gone to the draft. Jason Maitre, starting corner, he's gone. And then potential absences include starting linebacker Jordan Turner. One of their wide receivers has already transferred to Florida. And Skylar Bell, a wide receiver, is in the portal, 38 catches, 297 yards. And I'm not positive whether he's playing or not. So, and look, LSU's wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 are all good. They've also got Mason Taylor.
And they're much better than Wisconsin wide receiver 1. And
Right.
Wisconsin wide receiver 1 and 2, if they're already in the portal. I think, honestly, and this is because we look at a whole lot of these things in terms of the gambling purview. they're going to need to put a rule in that if you enter the portal, you can't play in the bowl game, because we don't know this. I mean, are you in the portal? If you're in the portal, great. If you're going to get back out of the portal, okay. But don't be planning on playing in the bowl game, because the betting aspect of this is only going to get continued to magnify. And so that conversation, because you're right. I mean, you look up and a whole bunch of these teams have this kid's in the portal, but he's down there practicing. Okay. I mean, and if this kid's in the portal and he may be practicing and he wants to play, if things are going good, then great. But if things turn bad, he's going to make a huge business decision and go, oh, coach, my ankle. Oh, my arm is broken. It's good luck in Haiti. I mean, whatever you want to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but LSU is layered with talent that is way more physical and way more fast than Wisconsin.
Yeah, and just more on that. I mean, come on, like me and you both had Troy last week, and widely reported in every preview you've read, and I did Twitter searches on this. I mean, their running back Jordan Waters, he either transferred to NC State or Vatech, and then RJ Oben, their all AAC or all ACC defensive end, had transferred to either NC State or Virginia Tech. I forget which one went where, and like the first play of the game for Duke. Oh, Jordan Waters, 8-yard run. Troy gets a turnover and they're driving, and the RJ Oben kid gets a 10-yard sack. And I'm just like, what the heck's going on here? So anyhow, we both like LSU, and I will just throw this out. We've got one of the lowest, or actually, let me look. It might be the lowest total of the year. No, they had 54 against Mississippi State and 55 against Arkansas. I think because these teams are, personnel is not all there, because like you didn't do, and I didn't either, but we should have done USC's over last night. I mean, do we just do LSU's over just because that's what we've done all year, and the over is 11-1? But and as much as I don't trust Wisconsin to have much offense, it is still LSU's sorry-ass defense. So anyway,
it is, but it's also, I mean, how much are we going to trust QB2? I mean,
I like Nussmeier.
Huh?
I like Nussmeier.
Well, I mean, you probably like Niedermeyer from the Animal House movies, where he can't talk to our pledges like that. Only we can talk to our pledges like that. So, right. I mean, all right, fine. I mean, you like Niedermeyer all you like. I don't care.
So I hate Nussmeier's dad, who had to watch call plays for 3 years, and McElwain wouldn't fire him. I hate his dad. But Garrett, the son, he threw for almost 300 yards in the second half against Georgia in the SEC championship game last year. He can spin it. They've got high hopes for him. And
well, if you want to play the over, play LSU's team over. Because I don't trust Wisconsin to carry their weight in this type of thing, because they may put 3 on the board, and then, I mean, Brian Kelly just may grind this thing out in the second half and let everybody play, including a couple of boosters kids, and this thing is 35-7. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the total, because I thought you were going to Tennessee, Iowa, which is going to be a rock fight.
Yeah, and let's go there right now. So BetOnline has Tennessee at 6.5 with a total of 36. Joe Milton making it official yesterday that he is out. So the Nico era begins. The 5-star true freshman who completed 16 of 26 for 163 yards and a touchdown in limited action this year. Also, Tennessee's best running back, Jalen Wright, is gone. They've got a few guys to the portal, 2 guys in the secondary that played a lot, but not a ton of defections. But Tennessee was dealing with injuries late in the year. Obviously, the receivers, McCoy and Thornton, not available. So I mean, it is Iowa. Are we thinking under? Right now, like I said, I thought Auburn was a good teaser money line parlay. I'm not against Tennessee in a teaser money line parlay, but I'm not going to lay 6.5 with Tennessee. I'm not against the under because it's an Iowa game, and those are my thoughts.
What is the under? I know you said it, but is it like
30,
34?
30. Well, it's 35 at a lot of spots, but Bet Online's 36. So that's one of the better places to lay, or just
Tennessee's
take the under.
defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
Iowa's offense is craptastic. I mean, it's
Yes.
awful. You've got a freshman who in Nico, who is by all reports allegedly the $8 million NIL dude.
Did he
I
get
would
8 million?
think Josh Heupel wants to put him in a place to have a whole lot of success. I mean, but against that Iowa defense, and again, if it was like watching a train wreck through the month of November, watching Iowa play football, but I couldn't turn my head away from it. It was just 8 yards punt, 12 yards punt. I mean, it was awful, but you couldn't help but watch it.
Great punter, by the way. Great punter.
And I mean, if this game ends 17-10, are you going to be shocked?
No. God, no. Heck no.
So I'm completely with you in putting Tennessee. I think Tennessee wins because I think they've got better athletes. But if you had to make a play, especially if you can find it under 35, or if you can find it north of 35. I think the under is the smarter play, but I think Tennessee wins the game. But in an over under that is 35, 36, 7 points is a huge algorithm number. I mean, comparatively when you're crunching, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, big play coming up in SMU, BC. Is there no man's land? 4th and 6, up 14-10. Big play for both of us coming up here. All right, let's go to the semifinals, which in a previous show, I know we discussed, but many of our listeners may not have watched the previous shows. I love Alabama. It's my largest bet of the bowl season. Bet Online, you can currently get Bama at +2. Bet Online has the total at 44 and a half. Bama, since losing to Texas, has won 11 games in a row, and they have won 7 of those by double-digit margins. And I'm trying to find my – oh, here's Alabama. Okay. Jalen Milroe, look, the Texas game, that was the 3rd start of his career. He has improved so much since then. In fact, the last 8 games, he's got a 17-3 TDINT ratio. Bama has beaten LSU, Ole Miss, and Tennessee by exactly 14 points apiece. They went to Kentucky and won by 4 touchdowns, and they just ended Georgia's 29-game winning streak without their starting running back, who is back this week. Michigan, I don't think they played anybody the first 9 games. Then they had 3 close games, and they got the W. To their credit, they're without their best offensive lineman, who was a preseason All-American. I'm not saying it's going to be like the Georgia game in the CFP semis 2 years ago, where we knew after 2 or 3 drives there mid-late first quarter that it was game, set, match, game over, go home. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a close game for a little while, but I think Alabama pulls away and wins by double digits, wins fairly comfortably. I have a future ticket on Bama at 6-1. So I don't need to bet more at 2-1 or +190, wherever your book has it at. But if I didn't have a 6-1 future ticket on Bama, I would be buying a future ticket on Bama, because I think they're going to win their next 2 by double digits, even though this will probably be one of the least talented Saban national title teams. I think it will be another Saban national title team.
I'm wearing an Auburn golf shirt. It's got a Bruce Pearl logo on it. And it's going to pain me to say this, but I completely agree with everything you just said. I'm going to root for Michigan up one side and down the other. But I will tell you this, all of my money will be on Bama, both in this game and in the next one. And dear Lord, let Texas win that game and give Saban the speechifying he can just craft about the chance for redemption and the chance for defending your honor and all the other stuff. I don't necessarily think, I truly don't. I think FSU deserved the spot over Alabama. I really do. Alabama's going to win the national championship. But then again, if Georgia was in the other semifinal, it'd be Alabama and Georgia in the national championship. So, I mean, if you're talking about the best resume or the best football team, then let's have that. I mean, those conversations all have merit, but they're not the same conversation. It's like picking the best baseball player or the most valuable baseball player. The most valuable baseball player is Shohei Ohtani because he plays two positions, but he's not the best baseball player because the Angels can finish in last place with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, okay, Alabama's got too many dudes. They got too many dudes for Michigan, period.
Yeah. FSU was the more deserving team. They weren't the best team. And if we're playing the best, and that's what it says the committee's supposed to do, then they got it right. Or like you said a few weeks ago, they got the least wrong decision. I thought you worded that well. All right, we need to wrap this show up. I know I like Washington +4. I'm trying to remember what you like there.
I want to root for Washington, but with the Texas wide receiver coming back, you and I are going to have to part ways on this one.
Well, I saw Sark say he looked good at practice. What does that mean? Have we seen some camera footage of him running?
Well, and to that point, we go back to what we talked about in the portal. College football is going to have to get their hands around an injury report if in moving forward with all the gambling invested across the country. Period. End of conversation.
And why is Big Ten going out of their way to, make an injury report and release it? I think it's 2 hours before kickoff, but nobody else is.
Right.
I mean, and the Frank Harris nonsense with the UTSA game, and then the Jason Bean rumor with Kansas the other night. I mean, come on, and tighten up, beat reporters.
Well, and to your point about the Duke game, I mean, and there's there are like two meaningful stars on each side of the ball who just pop up and got a helmet on.
And I did Twitter searches on both of them, and I did the latest, so it's not skipping around. And I scrolled, and there was nothing for days about either of them playing. And if you went to every AP preview or preview on this side or that, they were all not supposed to play, supposedly. So anyway, all right, so sounds like you like Texas. I like Washington. Kalen DeBoer has been an underdog at Washington 4 times. He's won outright in each instance. And then going back to his last year at Fresno, 6-0 against the spread with 5 outright wins last 6.
He's good at this now. That dude is good.
Yeah. Perhaps a target for my Gators.
Is there a worse scenario than winning the Duke's Mayo Bowl and having that huge bucket of mayonnaise dumped on your head? I mean, I appreciate winning the postseason. I do. I know it's like a reward and all those things. Holy God, that would suck butt. I mean,
Shane Beamer loved it after, was that his first year when he got him to a bowl game and they played so good against North Carolina? He loved it, but yesterday it didn't look fun.
No. And it looks like it went from a 5-gallon bucket to like a 55-gallon drum and they've like warmed it up because it like poured had like a mayo milk consistency. No thanks. I'm going to pass there.
Yeah. All right. So I'm hoping that Blake will. Well, I don't know if he'll have it up before the NC State game starts at 5:45 Eastern, but I do like NC State today against K-State, and I
I'm
like
with you on
Arizona.
that,
I like
especially with
Arizona.
Will Howard opting out.
Yeah, although that freshman Avery Johnson is really good, but he runs it a lot, and they don't have a scholarship like FSU. They don't have a scholarship quarterback behind him if he gets banged up running it. And I like Arizona tonight against OU.
I'm on the other side.
Okay, you like Jackson Arnold? I haven't seen him yet. I know he's good, but I I
And his top two wide receivers have decided to play.
yeah, and Jacob Cowing has decided to play for Arizona, which is big as well. All right, and NFL for me, I'm gonna throw three at you. Bengals +7, average size play. If Jamar Chase gets upgraded, pretty confident, pretty fairly strong play. I'm gonna go Bears -3 against the Falcons. Kyle Pitts, I saw at DraftKings had a receiving yards prop of 35.5. Hit that again last week. Let's go with that again. And the Browns tonight, if and only if you can get 7, and it was 7.5 at last look. If you can buy the half point, or if you bet it already, and that's all I got, Mr. Greeson. What you got? Any
Well,
NFL or?
the one thing I'm going to say is hope everybody has a great new year. Be smart, be safe. The other thing is you have made more than one rent check on Kyle Pitts over this mid-30 number through and I've been happy to put the saddle on one Brian Edwards' back and come along for the ride because it's like 8 of the last 9, right?
It's something like that. But sorry, let's be clear. It should be undefeated if Arthur Flippin Smith wasn't such a
Well, it
moron.
should be over under 67, not
Right.
not 38.
Right, 100%. 100%.
All right, let's fire Arthur Smith, and then we'll just move along.
Yeah, like 2 months ago. But surely we've only got 2 more weeks of it. Surely. And let me ask you, seriously, serious question. Like, you're not like rooting for scenarios for the Falcons to stay alive. Like, I want the Bucks to win, and I want the Falcons to lose.
No, I wanted the Colts to win.
Yes.
I'm a smart enough NFL fan to, I
don't care if we make the playoffs. We have to get rid of this guy.
Conversation about whether is Russ Wilson doable. Sierra grew up in Riverdale. She was on the dance team at the high school that I covered before I met you at the Marietta Daily Journal. So
true story?
Yeah, true story. And so God bless, knock yourself silly. But Desmond Ridder ain't him. Arthur Smith ain't him. They got pieces, but they ain't got leaders. And Arthur Blank needs to go figure that out.
Yeah. And finally got a defense that's pretty good. We'll see how that's looking with, how the roster, who we lose and whatnot. But all right. Yeah, I want to wish everyone a happy new year as well. And we'll be talking more hoops and then the CFP finals next week. For Jay Greeson, I'm Brian Edwards. This has been Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson for Southeastern 14. Thanks to Bet Online. Thanks to Blake for editing. And everybody have a great new year. Thanks for listening. We're over and out.